Of the 1916 Rising, and it's good to see such a large crowd here today and many new faces as we join with the many tens of thousands of other Irish Republicans across not only this island but wherever the Irish diaspora are as we gather to commemorate this noble time. And we're not only commemorating those who fought and died in the 1916 Rising, we also take this opportunity to remember those who fought and died, those men and women in any phase of our struggle against British imperialism. And we also come here today, each of us as individuals, to rededicate ourselves to national sovereignty, to united Ireland, and to ensuring that the sentiments of the proclamation of socialism and equality are once and sometime soon, hopefully in the future, are put into place. So we will firstly rededicate ourselves by listening to the words that were spoken on the steps of the GPO that fateful Easter Monday morning in 1916. So I would ask a member of the Colour Party to please read the proclamation.
Public na Éireann, the Provisional Government of the Irish Republic to the people of Ireland. Irish men and Irish women, in the name of God and of the dead generations from which she receives her old tradition of nationhood, Ireland, through us, summons her children to her flag and strikes for her freedom. Having organised and trained her manhood through her secret revolutionary organisation, the Irish Republican Brotherhood, and through her open military organisations, the Irish Volunteers and the Irish Citizen Army, having patiently perfected her discipline, having resolutely waited for the right moment to reveal itself, she now seizes that moment, and supported by her exiled children in America and by gallant allies in Europe, but relying in the first of her own strength, she strikes in full confidence of victory. We declare the right of the people of Ireland to the ownership of Ireland and to the unfettered control of Irish destinies to be sovereign and indefeasible. The long usurpation of that right by a foreign people and government has not extinguished the right, nor can it ever be extinguished except by the destruction of the Irish people. In every generation, the Irish people have asserted their right to national freedom and sovereignty. 6 times during the past 300 years, they have asserted it in arms, standing on that fundamental right, and again asserting it in arms in the face of the world. We hereby proclaim the Irish Republic as a sovereign, independent state, and we pledge our lives and the lives of our comrades in arms to the cause of its freedom and of its exaltation among the nations. The Irish Republic is entitled to, and hereby claims, the allegiance of every Irish man and Irish woman. The Republic guarantees religious and civil liberty, equal rights and equal opportunities to all its citizens, and declares its resolve to pursue the happiness and prosperity of the whole nation and of all its parts, cherishing all of the children of the nation equally and oblivious to differences caused, fostered by an alien government, which have divided a minority from the majority in the past. Until our arms have brought the opportune moment for the establishment of a permanent national government, representative of the whole people of Ireland and elected by the suffrages of all her men and women, the Provisional Government, hereby constituted, will administer the civil and military affairs of the Republic in trust for the people. We place the cause of the Irish Republic under the protection of the Most High God, whose blessing we invoke upon our arms, and we pray that no one who serves that cause will dishonour it by cowardice, inhumanity, or rapine. In this supreme hour, the Irish nation must, by its valour and discipline, and by the readiness of its children to sacrifice themselves for the common good, prove itself worthy of the august destiny to which it is called. Signed on behalf of the Provisional Government, Thomas J. Clarke, Sean McDermott, Thomas McDonagh, P.H. Pearce, Amy Keanth, James Connolly, and Joseph Plunkett.
It has been taught right before we turn away from this place in which we have laid the mortal remains of O'Donovan Rossa, that one among us should, in the name of all, speak the praise of that valiant man, and endeavour to formulate the thought and the hope that are in us, and as we stand around his grave, and if there is anything that makes it fitting that I, rather than another, I, rather than one of the grey-haired men who were young with him and shared in his labour and in his suffering, should speak here, it is perhaps that I may be taken as speaking on behalf of a new generation that has been re-baptized in the Fenian faith and that has accepted the responsibility of carrying out the Fenian programme. I propose to you then that here by the grave of this unrepentant Fenian we renew our baptismal vows, that here by the grave of this unconquered and unconquerable man we ask of God, each one for himself, such unshakable purpose, such high gallant courage, such unbreakable strength of soul as it belonged to O'Donovan Rossa. Deliberately here we avow ourselves, as we avowed himself in the dock, Irish men of one allegiance only, we of the Irish Volunteers, and you others who are associated with us in today's task and duty, are bound together and must stand together henceforth in brotherly union for the achievement of the freedom of Ireland. And we know only one definition of freedom. It is Tone's definition. It is Mitchell's definition. It is Ross's definition. Let no man blaspheme the cause that the dead generations of Ireland served by giving it any other name or definition than their name and their definition. We stand at Ross's grave not in sadness, but rather in exaltation of spirit that it has been given to us to come thus into so close a communion with that brave and splendid Gael. Splendid and holy causes are served by men who are themselves splendid and holy. O'Donovan Rossa was splendid in the proud manhood of him, splendid in the heroic grace of him, splendid in the Gaelic strength and clarity and truth of him. All that splendour and pride and strength was compatible with a humility and a simplicity of devotion to Ireland, to all that was olden and beautiful and Gaelic in Ireland, the holiness and the simplicity of patriotism, of a Michael O'Clery or an Owen O'Growney. The clear, true eyes of this man, almost alone in his day, visioned Ireland as we of today would surely have her. Not free merely, but Gaelic as well. Not Gaelic merely, but free as well. In a closer spiritual communion with him now than ever before, or perhaps ever again. In spiritual communion with those of his day, living and dead, who suffered with him in English prisons. Patriot men and women spring living nations. The defenders of this realm have worked well and secret and in the open. They think that they have pacified Ireland. They think that they have purchased half of us and intimidated the other half. They think that they have foreseen everything. Think that they have provided against everything. But the fools, they have left us our Fenian dead, and while Ireland holds these graves, Ireland unfree shall never be at peace.
I'd ask Chris to come forward and to get the wreath and lay it on behalf of Republicans throughout County Sligo.
Was born in Rusheen near Riverstown in 1947. As he grew into adulthood, he witnessed the unfolding events within the 6 counties, and unable and unwilling to turn his back on the nationalist people, he joined the ranks of Old Naheran, along with others from his native county and thousands from across the country. A fellow Republican recalls Kevin as an easygoing country lad, always in good form, with a ready smile, always up for the crack. But there was a serious side to him, willing and more than happy to play his part in the struggle. Forced to go on the run, Kevin moved further north, operating in the Cavan, North Leitrim, Fermanagh area. He was heavily involved in the production of materials for the war effort, spending long hours in what was known as the factory.